Hi everyone. Sorry, I'm just trying to get used to this new format. Welcome back on VCTV, which is the venture capital TV from LATOKEN. Today we'll discuss about investments in mobile advertisement, e-commerce, and millennial consumer. Thanks for joining in. And we are back to this web-based application called StreamYard for streaming videos. We're not using Zoom, so please bear with me. If something goes wrong, I can see smaller screens and no names. Welcome back on VCTV. My name is Sunny Mohanty. I'm the regional director. Oh, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, sure.
Karthik just said can't hear me, so sorry. So my name is Sunny Mohanty. Sorry about that. I'm the regional director of LATOKEN based in Singapore. And I host VCTV every day, Monday till Friday, 8 p.m. Singapore time. So yeah, so today we have Gary. I have to see my screens to get the names. Ashish is joining us for the first time. Hi Ashish from Ashish. Hi Ashish. Welcome to VCTV. Finally, you were able to get in.
Yes, thank you. Good to be here. Thank you.
Oh, fantastic. Harsh, I can see Harsh. I can see Gary. I can see Ashish. I don't see Karthik right now. Is any other speakers over there? Because I can't see anybody else. So let's start with the introductions of our speakers. Let's start with Ashish, who just joined us for the very first time. Hi, Ashish. A little bit of introduction and background about yourself.
Yeah, thanks, Sony. Very pleased to be here. I run Ivy Cap Ventures, which is basically a venture capital fund built around the alumni ecosystem of the IITs in Ireland. We are mostly focused on India and outbound companies out of India. Manage about 200 million assets under management, and of course, very pleased to be here. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Ashish, and great that you could join in finally. Next, we have Karthik. Karthik, I see you back again. Are you there?
I am here, finally. Technology is playing Tron with me, but I'm here. Good afternoon, and this is episode number 60 for me. Glad to be on the show once again. I represent Middle East, Dubai, and represent a couple of family offices based in the UK and a couple of VCs based out of UAE, Qatar and Saudi, primarily to health tech, fintech, edutech space. And I also represent a large retail organization in consumer business. Thank you.
Okay, Karthik, you've frozen a bit. Okay, thank you, Karthik. Welcome back on VCTV. Next, I have Harsh. Harsh, hi, welcome back on VCTV. A little bit of intro and background, please.
Hi, Sony. Glad to be back. Really love these shows which happen so often, and to meet some amazing guests over here. So I'm Harsh Shetia. I'm a venture partner with our ventures. I'm also a growth consultant for a lot of startups, primarily helping them with strategic partnerships and digital marketing and other initiatives. My primary interest lie in SaaS, fintech, health tech, marketing tech, and AI. And yeah, looking forward to a great discussion today.
Thank you, Harsh, and same here. Gary, welcome back on VCTV. How are you today?
I'm fantastic. How are you today?
I look a little bit lost, but I'm good. Thank you. I'll get there.
No, it's great to be here. And so my name's Gary Fowler. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I've done 17 companies. I've had 2 unicorns. I was on the original management team of Click Software, which was sold to Salesforce for $1.35 billion. And also Eva.ai, one of the premier AI HR tech companies. I'm the CEO, president, co-founder of GSD Get Shit Done Venture Studios, a premier AI and quantum venture studios located in Silicon Valley. And it's great to be here on VCTV one more time.
Yes, absolutely. It's great to have you back on VCTV as always.
Thank
you so much for the introductions. We are all set with the introductions. Hope everybody can hear me fine.
Yes,
we hear you.
Great. I just heard some kind of noise, so I was just making sure. Okay, today's topic is about mobile advertisement, e-commerce, and millennial consumer. Let's start with some opening remarks. I'd like to start with Ashish because we had a discussion and he is sort of invested in startups in these areas. So, Ashish, over to you, please.
No, I think this is just a fantastic time to be and investing in this space. We've done a bunch of companies in e-commerce and also ad tech and marketing tech. Obviously, a lot of them around the millennial customers. So this is a topic that we live and breathe every day. But I think taking a step back, the want to point you to the enormity of the change that's happening, particularly in India, right? I mean, you're going to about 700 million odd, internet users in almost no time. And these consumers are hungry for all kinds of new brands, new products. And in fact, if you go back and over the last 10, 15, 20 years, there's been a lack of brands, lack of new product innovation in category after category, right? So we see a lot of opportunity in almost every area where entrepreneurs are using technology to bring in new products and innovating around them, building a business model around them. Similarly, the way consumers are engaging with brands, engaging with products, and consuming products is vastly different from what we have seen. I mean, content-driven, influencer-driven, video-driven, right? Where do you go and kind of look at your consideration set? So it's entire consumer behavior has been turned on its head, given how technology has flourished. And finally, a lot of work on mobile advertising. I mean, we have a company which we sold to Socrati, which was the largest marketing tech company in India. And then we are investing in, we have online sales now, which is basically doing very, aggregation or co-marketing for aggregators and monetization of platforms through advertising. And there's a lot of interesting business models emerging in mobile advertising, sheerly because of the screen has changed, right, over the last 10 years. I mean, people have moved from a television to your mobile devices, and people are engaging with content. Content has got democratized, so people are engaging with all kinds of content creators and all kinds of influencers. So the way, and I see a lot of shift happening, and already a shift has happened, but I see a lot of shift happening from the traditional media budgets to new channels of media. So let me pause there. Those are my sort of very high level thoughts that I have on what's driving all this in the environment.
Perfect. Thank you, Ashish, for that opening remarks. Really appreciate it. High level, yeah, I'm going to drill down a bit each of the sections later. One of the speakers got thrown out. Just letting you know, guys. I mean, he's pinging me. Harsh, let's start with you with your opening remarks while we try and get Karthik back.
Sure. So the entire advertising space over the last 20 years has kind of dramatically shifted, right? The 50 years prior to that, it used to be purely paper-based, newspaper-based, the similar traditional kind of advertising. And in the last 20 years, the kind of dramatic shift that has happened with the help of online advertising, you're able to measure ROI on an individual click basis to kind of identify where each and every click went, even track those customers. And the kind of depth of information that we get from the digital marketing tech and the advertising tech that is available tomorrow, it's absolutely phenomenal in the kind of, the opportunities that have arisen. And the biggest impact it has made is it has democratized the entire advertising process, right? So earlier, back around 20 years back, you wanted to do a marketing campaign, you would have to spend like thousands and thousands of dollars to get a simple ad campaign running. However, now you can start with a simple $10, $20, $50. That's the only amount that you need to run a marketing campaign these days. That is the democratization which has happened and completely exploded the advertising market, which earlier used to be a very small player, and now it is these advertising companies which are the largest players in the world. They are among the largest billionaire companies in the world. That is how much shift it has happened and how much access to technology it has brought up. So being in the marketing tech space, it is like it's so dynamic and it's changing so fast. You're always on your heels trying to figure out what's new. And you look at it today, especially so in India, the uptake of internet was still on a very lower side compared to the Western economies like US and Europe, right? But with the advent of a single company, Geo, and you look at the skyrocketing rates of internet penetration within India, the paradigm shift, the landmark shift which has happened, it is absolutely phenomenal. I'm really excited to see how the space opens up in the coming few years.
Yes, of course. Thank you, Harsh, for this opening remarks. Thank you so much. Next, I have Gary here. We haven't got Karthik. So, Gary, over to you with your opening remarks, please.
Yeah, no, this is a great time. I mean, think about it with mobile rising, 5G. Then you look at programmatic advertising, be able to get the right ad to the right place at the right time to the right audience. So it's an incredibly interesting opportunity for everyone. And again, everything goes back to, as I said many times, it's artificial intelligence and hyper-personalization to make sure that we're getting that advertisement in a very surgically precise way to the person that needs and wants to see it. So it's an incredible time. So that as these technologies evolve, we're going to see this advertising space, you know, as I think Harsh said, you know, it's for $10 you can start to do advertising a lot different than before, because it's not really a broad brush approach to spray and pray. It's really surgically precise.
Right. Okay, great. Thank you so much. Today, actually, I'm joined here by my co-moderator, Roman. Roman, are you here?
Yes. Hello, Sonny. Hello, our investor board. So actually, this is quite an exciting topic because since the streaming platforms and other services are purchased by huge companies, and advertising tend to personalize, and even these influencers are involved in the field who are like never happened before. And we used to host the movie stars for the advertisements. Now it's the real people. So I'm absolutely sure and agree about the democratization of the advertising field, and also see a huge amount of investment pouring in this area, and actually receiving, as a consumer, receive a very sufficient like experience in terms of having the products I want right in the place. So it's fantastic, and I really agree that we are living in special times.
Do you have any specific questions on the topic?
Well, actually, do you like in terms of the regions, especially in India, how do like mobile advertisements are focused and personalized? Who are the key like influence like who is talking to the audience like in a special way? Like are you focused on the influencers, or maybe it's the Google like direct ads who are mainly like targeting the audience?
So it's a question for Harsh.
Yes,
in terms of
please.
mobile advertisement in India, what models, what are the channels?
Yeah, what are the channels?
Correct. So over the past 5 to 6 years, the primary focus was on Google and Facebook ads. They used to be the bread and butter, and they almost started to make over $1 billion of revenue in India alone. So that is how much the focus has been in Google and Facebook ads. However, for the last 1.5 years, we've started seeing a shift from that model. We are increasingly seeing a huge penetration towards YouTube ads as well, where people have started moving towards, the YouTube ads, especially the in-stream ads, which are very common in YouTube. So that is the one where we are seeing increasing shift over there. Additionally, people have also started moving to influencer marketing, right? The benefit of influencer marketing is the audience is already engaged to that influencer, right? So the credibility of the influencer kind of shifts onto your product and service as well. So since last 1.5 years, we've seen a lot of influencer agencies, kind of keeping up into that space. Just today, we had a discussion with an influencer tech product. They are kind of democratizing, but they are basically an influencer marketplace where there are thousands of influencers on their platform, and they are providing this service to influencer agencies, which they can use to schedule and plan the entire campaign, right? So for the past 1.5 years, we've seen a lot of progress over there. So that is how the shift has happened. And increasingly with Facebook ads becoming more and more expensive, people are slightly, especially since the election last year, the November election of US election last year, the Facebook ads have become very expensive. So that is why the shift towards influencer marketing and YouTube marketing has really gone up. However, there is another form of advertisement which is still not that prevalent in India. That's called the push pop ads. Basically, they're the push notifications and interstitial ads. That is not that common. And programmatic advertising is still yet to pick up at the scale that we're expecting it to pick up over the next 2 to 3 years.
Right.
Thank you.
So same question for Ashish. Maybe Ashish, you can cover Southeast Asia.
Yeah, I mean, of course, I look at companies across India, Southeast Asia, and I agree with Harsh, these trends in terms of looking at YouTube. Influencer marketing is a big one in India. I'm also seeing a lot of video content. A lot of companies are now leveraging content to drive traffic. So that's another way, not necessarily advertising, but at least of generating traffic. The other trend I see also is cross leveraging platforms, which means that let's say you have a digital OTP and then you use combining that with mobile advertising. So you kind of cross pollinate and use mobile for retargeting, or for that matter, what's also happening, and this is an interesting case that one of our companies, Online Sales, has built on, which is basically helping other platforms monetize. So while an Amazon and a Swiggy, etc., get ad revenues because of traffic, and Amazon would have its own platform for monetization stack. But Online Sales gives every platform a monetization stack. So Swiggy, with the help of Online Sales, can build advertising on their own platforms, right? So that's another thing that's happening strongly. Now, the other very interesting thing which has happened, particularly post-COVID, is that a lot of typically non-traditional or non-digital players, I mean, you could think of banks, I mean, say SBI or some of the other much more traditional players, are looking for digital mediums, right? So that shift on the customers who are spending on advertising, there is a shift on that also. So, for instance, you would find, let's say, a Hyundai or a Maruti running co-marketing campaigns, which are very localized, along with their dealer network. So, for instance, if the dealer spends $1, let's say Hyundai promises to top it up with $4, right? And so that they can really target very locally the kind of customers and create a traffic for the particular outlets. So we find a lot of non-traditional players using their marketing budget to get into this kind of a hybrid model, or I would say adopting digital technology or mobile and digital advertising in a different way. So these are some of the new trends that I see out there. And also, I think, in my view, given the speed at which and the amount of time that end users are spending on screens, on different kind of things, I think the shift of budgets has not kept pace with that. I expect a lot more shift to happen in the coming years.
Great. Thank you, Ashish, for sharing those insights for covering Southeast Asia and India both. Next, I have Gary. Gary, over to you, please, with the same question from Roman.
Yes, how this happens over there in the Silicon Valley? What is the trends for the personalized advertisement?
Well, I mean, we covered some of them. I mean, number one is we've got obviously with the uptick in mobile, but hyper personalization across the board and localization. So getting that, as I said, the right advertisement to the right place at the right time. So, and then, you know, with contextual advertising, being able to really understand what's happening with taking all the data that's out there about that particular customer and being really surgically precise in what we're going to advertise at what time, at what place. So what I see is it really drilling down to make it more personalized for that particular customer. And it's happened a lot. We are working with one of the demand side platforms. Actually, we have another one that we're just onboarding now. And the business is growing. In that particular company, our business last year went from 11 million to this year we'll do about 20. So it's a global reach. It's not just about the Valley, because the Valley is just a port to the rest of the world. It's about technologies being developed to be able to deploy on a global basis. So the interesting thing is, you know, and what's happened in the trend, Roman, across the board, across multiple verticals with artificial intelligence and deep learning is how can we make everything more personal so we're not wasting time or money? As Harsh said earlier, you know, $10 or $20 or $1,000 to be able to advertise with exactly pinpoint focus on a particular customer is fantastic. Now, when you add things like artificial intelligence and you're able to take, you know, hyper streams of data and to be able to figure out exactly, you know, predict what that customer is going to want at a particular time and sell that to a potential advertiser, that becomes very, very, very interesting.
Yes, yes. Thank you very much. And also, I know that the technology of Beacon, you know, and monitoring the users who are involved in the public Wi-Fi, so it also influences the sources of data we're collecting about the users who are like moving around and like showing up in certain places, and the beacons which are available mostly in the US, most in our region, I like send people to come to certain like place in the shop to get a certain like best offer.
Yeah, I mean,
so
the thing is,
so
when you're looking at those, so if you're talking about that in a retail store, so imagine tied into the whole system for a merchandise planning system. So you go in front of a particular object. I mean, the other thing is using your mobile phone to be able to scan an object, right? So one is to localize it. Another thing is to scan it. And then through dynamic pricing, coming up with a right exact hyper-personalized price for that particular customer. It becomes extraordinarily interesting. And then and we actually working on one of those projects. Imagine taking that same phone and then bringing up what a competitor's price is, right? So you can understand where that sits. So imagine how interesting that becomes. So what we see is now, then take it to the next level, Roman. So we're doing the advertising part. We're doing the customer loyalty. And this program is built for you. Now, you've been a buyer of Nabisco cookies. It sees that you've bought 10 packs of whatever, Oreos. And then the next thing is, hey, listen, we have this new vanilla Oreo cookie with a chocolate middle. We'd like you to try this, and we're going to give you a 2-for-1 pricing. So customer loyalty. Then the situation is not only that, so you scan it, the system understands you can actually purchase at the same time through this project. That goes back to your merchandise planning system and starts reallocating product to be able to take care of shelf space. So this is really a closed, interesting 360-degree system. So that's where, and what it does is it makes our lives a lot easier, because the problem we have, as we've said, is there's just so much data, so many choices, we can't figure out what we have and what we want.
Great. Thank you, Gary. We have another speaker who just joined us, Chandray. Have I pronounced your name correctly? Hi, Chandray. We can see you, but we can't hear you.
He's on mute.
Yes.
Chandray, you're on mute. I think you can control mute, though, Sonny. There's a control panel there.
Yeah. Abel Beck and Hasmik. Anybody unmute? Can anyone unmute Chandray?
Chandra, at the bottom of your screen, it'll say mute, stop cam, cam mic. On the left, just click mute. You'll have a cross on the mute. Just click it.
Okay, Harsh is thrown out. Harsh is just, he's backstage. Can you get him in?
Now we're all here, except the...
Oh, yeah, Harsh was backstage. I just saw his message right now.
I can see Harsh. She's back.
Hi, Harsh.
I made it back. Hello.
Oh, well,
I made it back.
Good, good. I don't know why do you guys keep on going backstage.
Well, I mean, you know, this
We end
is
up being thrown out.
this is a good system. I use it every week. I broadcast out to thousands and thousands of people. It just takes a little bit of time. It takes a few weeks to get used to the control panel.
I think with Karthik, he's got some issues with the country itself, Dubai. I think he can't use any of these streaming platforms web-based.
You need to use a VPN to come out to do it.
Oh, okay. He needs a VPN.
He actually,
okay.
he actually tried using a VPN last week, but that didn't work out, unfortunately. He tried to use a VPN last week as well.
Oh, okay. Let's figure out a way for Middle East speakers as well, because we have quite a few Middle East speakers. Talking about millennial consumer, I mean, millennials are the biggest consumers of these days. You know, be it clothing, be it anything like games. So how are the startups and how are these investors targeting this community and this segment? Let's hear it from Harsh first.
Hi. So among marketers, there's actually a joke these days that the attention span of a new age millennial is less than 8 seconds, and that's less than a goldfish.
Yes.
So that is kind of highlighting what a millennial customer is like, right? The mindset, the attention span is so small that they quickly move on to new things so fast that grabbing the attention becomes extremely crucial. If you cannot capture it within the first 5 seconds that the person is there, he's already on to something else. So that is how the entire marketing of the modern day is generated, right? So that is how the entire marketing communication needs to change. The big brands currently, they are still kind of operating in the old school mindset, creating those long form content and everything. However, now it is actually shifted to a traditional copywriting model, the direct response copywriting, where the essence of the message has to be translated within the first 2 lines. That is what we call the hook. The essence of the message has to be captured during the hook itself to capture the millennial consumer. That is the first part of attracting the millennial consumer the best. Second trend that we're also kind of observing is they don't want the legacy brands. They don't like to associate with legacy brands. They want something new. They want something fresh. They want something dynamic, right? So that is why instead of even for shoe brands, instead of going for legacy brands like Reebok and Nike, there are these new age brands like even the ones that I'm using, New Age Outlaws, and lots of other local brands are there, which people are preferring. New Balance is there. Those are the kind of brands people are preferring. That is what they want. They want something hip. They want something trendy. Another approach, another major shift that we've seen is gone are the days of single channel communication, right? The traditional advertising used to be the company used to promote and the consumers used to listen. Now it is far more interactive. It is far more dynamic. And the consumer are looking not just to buy a product, they are looking to be a part of a community they can associate with. They think that, do I like to be associated with this? Is it something cool? Is it something trendy? Does it align with the values that I'm looking at? Those are the kind of things which people are looking for. These are the things which kind of make or break the company these days. And that is why sometimes even, getting a best product is not important. Getting the right product for the right customer becomes important. And identifying the right customer segment becomes important.
Yeah, Harsh, I just read this recently that if you talk about sustainability and to be able to affect the planet, that people, if they have a choice, are 57% more likely to be able to choose that product, even if it costs a bit more money, because of labeling it that way. And so one of the things you're right about developing a community, and we develop communities for sustainability and keep the planet clean and that type of thing, we're going to dramatically increase. So now we're seeing trends within the retailers to move in those directions because they don't want to lose their business and they know where their consumers are. Look at the increase like in organic foods. right? And to be honest with you, I don't know what organic means. I mean, I can't tell you. This says organic. I don't know what's the difference between a non-organic bean and organic. To me, it's a bean, right?
Exactly.
There's something there, you know. If it's just organic, honestly, I know it's going to cost more money, and I'm not sure if it's going to taste better.
Yeah, exactly. Even in the supermarkets, when I go to buy eggs, I see variety of names at the top of the the packets, and I really don't know what's the difference between a free range, blah and blah and blah. So
well, cage free, free range. So I'm assuming they're not in some type of a cage cooped up. They just can lay their eggs anywhere. It's like the old days with the farmers. Right? You pick the eggs up, and they got a person with the basket walking around. I assume it's kind of interesting. And wouldn't it be interesting for advertisers to start to explain exactly what organic means to them?
Exactly.
Exactly.
Exactly. If I knew the difference between the black and the white and the brown eggs, I know which one to buy, right?
Exactly. Either that or you know it's Easter.
Exactly.
No, they say there's no difference. Yeah.
There's a lot of opportunity over there for the startups. Great. Ashish, over to you about millennial trends and how can startups engage? Yeah, just talk about millennials.
It's interesting that none of us are millennials here, so it's a bit like talking about what aliens look like, right? But let me give it a shot. I think let's look at the India and Southeast Asia context as to who these millennials are. It's obviously a certain age profile, and it could be from a tier 3 town, tier 4 town in India, and many of those, or it could be 200 kilometers off Jakarta or Bangkok, and strangely these consumers obviously are digitally native, and they spend a lot of time on screens. In fact, even more so after COVID, because they're sort of used to, they don't want to go to have an offline experience at all. Typically, they have a short attention span, as Harsh pointed out. But as Gary pointed out, they're also socially conscious. So they would prefer to buy something which has a label to say this particular brand does not use child labor, right? Or it is doing something for children in somewhere, or it has a sustainability message, right? They're also influenced a lot by their peer group and communities and online, again, in terms of what is it that you should consume. Content, I mean, content is very important, and messaging is very important to them. Also, I think the way brands must engage with them is not like a message on what it is, but making the messaging much more contextual and personalized, for them. They really appreciate that, right? And typically, at least in this part of the world, they don't have big budgets. They're still in the stage where their earnings are small, so they tend to buy smaller packs or have smaller spends. But on the positive side of spending, they are spenders. They don't like to save, or they're not in the saving mode as their parents have been or grandparents have been. So that's kind of the profile, and also the symbols of status, the symbols and aspirations are very different. I mean, it's not a big car. I mean, why do I need a car when I can conveniently order an Uber, right? Why do I need to buy a house where I can go and do co-living with my friends, right? So very, very different buyer profiles, buying practices, buyer behavior. And it is just imperative that every brand or product is tuned on to what these consumers want. And by the way, I mean, just to put this in context, in India and Southeast Asia, at least in India, category after category, for the last 30 years, we don't have any new products or any new brands, right? So we don't have the same, and obviously a millennial does not want to use the same moisturizer that her grandmother used or her mother used. She wants something different. So we have this new type of customer in a market which is really short of brands and products. So it's really a delight for an innovator who is really targeting them. But if you ask them today, they will tell you that not enough products are targeted at millennials.
Right. Great. Thank you, Ashish, for those insights. Really great insights. Very informative. Harsh, are you back? Are you here inside the lobby?
Yeah, I'm back here. I'm back.
Thanks, okay, great. I can see you. Okay, fine. Okay, next question would be any successful or unsuccessful cases that you could share, that you made recent investment that you made in the last 12 months during the COVID-19 pandemic that you can share with the audience. And yeah. Can you hear me, Harsh?
Yeah, sure. So in the e-commerce space particularly, I think the most notable which comes to my mind is the investment which happened in Meesho and Shop 101. So they are the social commerce platforms which are operating in India. That's the most prominent one which I can see in the e-commerce space. As far as mobile tech is concerned, I think the largest one you could look at is Salesforce's acquisition of Slack. So Slack was the largest player in terms of, the B2B communication and the largest channel which was there. And Salesforce acquired it because Salesforce being a conventional CRM, and now you have a Slack where people are using it for communication. But automatically opened a huge kind of opportunity for them to market over there as well. And integrating the Slack solutions to the Salesforce solution becomes a huge opportunity for them. So that I think was the largest, and the most investment in this space.
Right. Thank you, Harsh. I have to also make sure everybody is here in the panel. I think we have lost Gary. I don't see him here in the lobby. So Ashish, let's quickly move over to you because we were discussing about some of the... Gary is back here. Gary?
Yeah, I went, by mistake, I hit my own show, and it actually put me over to my own show. So sorry about that. I don't know why I did it. I was like, I hit the wrong thing. Sorry about that.
It's okay. No, I thought probably you were backstage.
No.
Okay, great. Gary, we just got over with Ashish, Harsh, some of the successful pivots, some recent investments in the space that you've made in the last 12 months that you can share with the audience.
Yeah, so I mean, our thing is the whole idea of demand side platforms. So we're really encouraged and exactly what we talked about today, being able to have the right product, the right place at the right time, really focused, and part of the challenge, the other thing is there's a lot of fraud with digital advertising. So be able to eliminate a lot of that fraud, which is really important today. So we have one company that has gone from 11 million to about $20 million in revenue this year.
Wow.
And so I'm encouraged. The challenges in this space, especially in the DSP space, is that it's not easy to get investment in the space today because for a whole lot of different reasons. But anyhow, I'm encouraged because it's now, a year ago, it was a little different than today. People are a bit more open to investing in that space. And we're looking for companies that have interesting artificial intelligence to be able to apply. I'm specifically interested in areas like being able to add objects into things like YouTube. So product placement. So those are kind of the next level, which have already started to come out. So you can see them. Then you can start to see, I'm interested in artificial intelligence, being able to generate the ads. So imagine super customized ads for you being generated by artificial intelligence. And we're at the beginning of this. It's not there yet, but I've already started to see, for instance, they've taken Frank Sinatra and been able to say in the style of Frank Sinatra and create a song that didn't exist before. So very soon, we've worked on some of those technologies at EVA to be able to understand how to have content created. So this is like the next level of super specialized advertising, custom at that moment just for you.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Gary. Anything else, Gary?
No, I mean, the thing is, it's an exciting space from my perspective because it drills down, and when you start to tie it in, you know, you go, imagine being able to have a YouTube video, that product's in the YouTube video, you look at it, can exactly order at that particular point in time. Imagine able to click in either in the video or outside of the video to order that product. That goes all the way back through to a merchandise planning system and replenishes it. You know, that closed loop system is very, very interesting for me. So I'm interested in that. And then the other thing is multiple products at any one time. So imagine getting offered, as I said, Oreo cookies, for instance. And I'm not hungry for Oreos right now. Or maybe one or two. Maybe that would be.
Yeah.
I don't know. And go ahead, Ashish. Or where's Harsh? Go ahead, Harsh.
Who's that?
Yeah.
Who's that?
Building on the point which Gary was mentioning, right? Ads in the videos directly. I've already recently started seeing, customized solutions, especially in those landing page builders and funnel builders. What they do is at the top, which we call above the fold, right? Over there, they have a video playing, and just in the video, they have clickable buttons in the video itself. So at specific points of time, you have these specific links appearing. You click those, and you can directly move out to the checkout page.
Oh, I love that. That's
so that is the newest innovation which I've seen coming.
That's very interesting.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's amazing. And imagine, being able to have, so the next level of this thing, imagine you have movies, and so they can, based on locality, you can actually do product placement in that locality based on a movie, and all of a sudden now imagine, and then customize for that particular customer. So you're on Netflix, right? And you look at a Netflix show, and all of a sudden the products that you like. Oh, I was looking at a Honda motorcycle, and the Honda motorcycle just happens to be the exact African model that you were looking for, happens to be parked in a parking lot. So there's a lot of subliminal suggestions there. Those are the kind of things. And the Oreo cookies on the table. Just wait.
Wouldn't that be phenomenal?
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's a Harsh. That's it. That's the future. Super hyper personalized advertising. And you know something? It can be done, right? It's moving in that direction.
Well, you do. There's another similar on the same context, right? I mean, video is obviously a big thing, right? And before you get to the product, I mean, as you are looking at a movie or a clip on Netflix, and you like a particular dress, imagine a crawler looking for you in various websites or marketplaces to see what is exactly similar to that particular dress that you liked, and popping it up for you.
I've seen that recently, Ashish. I've heard about within the last month, and maybe on VCTV, actually, Sonny, something exactly like that, right? And it was a dress, so you could pick the dress out from the store and purchase it right on the spot. I've seen something like that.
Wow.
Exactly. It's quite incredible, right? I mean, you start engaging with the products from your favorite movie star, and you can pick a dress that you really like. So I think video is a big one. Video and all kinds of tools around video is a very big one. We are just seeing very early days. I also, by the way, like, on the same context, video analytics platforms or influencer platforms. I really like that concept a lot. If you have building influencer platforms, I've seen one tools on that.
Ashish, if you get a chance, we have a portfolio company that just came through GSD Labs called Soman.ai. I don't know if you've seen the social influencer Maya. She's actually a composite of millions of faces from Southeast Asia. And so she's not real. In fact, what we had to do is we had to tweak her a little bit because she looked so real. People started like, "Hey, how you doing?" If you get a chance, I've written an article I can send over in chat. I can send over an article I've written about that. But it's incredible that imagine those influencers that aren't real that you could populate everywhere.
Yeah. By the way, Soman is a Singapore registered entity, right? Company.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Very exciting company.
Very, very. Okay, cool. So thank you so much for sharing those great insights. Ashish, I wanted to quickly ask you about some of the portfolios that you want to share today that you've invested in the last 12 months.
Yeah, we are looking at a few in this space. We are looking at again a video an influencer platform actually. We're looking
Right.
at and which combines with video analytics. Uh, Obviously, online sales, which is our portfolio company, is really going from strength to strength, and uh, you know. COVID has been a big tailwind event for them because suddenly you have a lot of non-traditional or non-digital or traditional kind of companies looking to get digital exposure. I gave the Hyundai example earlier. It's exactly that. I mean, Hyundai is spending $4 to every dollar that a distributor does on using online sales. On the consumer side, uh, I think it's a vast space and it's really barren land. So one of the things I'm looking for, and we're evaluating, is really men's personal products and men's
Right.
grooming kind of thing. There are a few companies like that, but I think that's a huge platform to really invest in India. Uh, I also like the entire story, which is a difficult space, but the entire farm gate to house to home story. Very difficult to get you organic, like you said. What is an organic bean? To be able to get that organic bean to you, or to be able to get exactly the kind of multigrain flour that you want on your doorstep. Some of those are yet to be, that they're early days for that, but I like that those kind of stories, and I'm looking to invest in some of them. We have recently made investments in a cloud kitchen called direct to home brand called Biryani by Kilo. Uh,
Wow.
and, Largest category in India, biryani. You have very very few national players, and in the food sector, in the food delivery space, it's completely non-trivial to have a chain. It is so operationally intensive, and consumers are so non-forgiving of bad quality and bad service. So you really got to get it right before to create a national brand. So we've done that. We're looking to do more in that area, and we are also looking at a fashion brand right now, which speaks to millennials. So more of that next time when we have announced a deal.
Oh, is it like an AI based avatar?
Well, it does use AI, but I think it speaks to the entire gap that we spoke about that millennials want in their
Oh,
yeah.
okay, made for the millennials. Sorry, Ashish, quickly I forgot to ask you, what stage do you invest in?
Yeah, we invest mostly in around Series A is our sweet spot, but we do a little bit of pre-Series A and Series B also. So we are, yeah, that's our sweet spot.
Okay, cool. Thank you so much for sharing those lovely insights and biryani by kilo. I've read about them as well. I think Vikram has shared that article with me.
It's not enough to read about it; you got to taste it. They really do very fine biryanis.
Sure. Once I go to India after this, whole lockdown thing is over. Like, I don't know, I haven't been to India for over a year now. Sure. Thank you, Ashish. Okay, Roman, are you here?
He's on mute.
Roman, Roman, you can unmute yourself if you've got any questions.
Yes. So actually, what I also wanted to ask regarding the personalized merchandise, which also like traces takes the attention of the millennials, in my opinion. So I think that maybe this category of products might also like be the next not next, but I mean like it's obviously the coming back as it also.
We can't hear you clearly. What's the question? Yeah, what's the question, Roman?
So my question is, how do you think if the personalized merchandise might be the trend for the millennials?
Okay, who are you asking this question first, Harsh?
I'm asking actually all of our audience, because I think that there are differences in terms of the areas, but as Gary looks over to the whole world, and Hash and Ashish are looking to their like Indian region, maybe there might be some differences. So can you please share?
Let's start with Harsh with that question. Personalized merchandise. Yeah.
Sure. So there's a huge actually booming industry operating in this space, and for the last 2-3 years it's picked up really well. I think the nomenclature for that is POD, print on demand. So basically what they do is, so they basically have like ready-made templates of t-shirts, cups, mugs, and a range of products. You can basically customize any design that you want. You can basically customize any sort of images, looks and feels, even kind of 3D pop-outs that you want. You can customize that, and they can deliver it to you within 30 days. It's already an extremely booming industry in the US because the pricing of it is very reasonable. You get these products for like $25-$30. That's it. And because the best part about it is, because the product is customized, there is no refunds. In US, the refunds tend to be a huge problem. So in these products, there is no refund. So that is why it becomes a huge value proposition for a lot of e-commerce players who are doing that. It's phenomenal. And the personalization aspect, one thing which you mentioned about, right? Just about a week or 2 weeks back, I came across a company. What they do is, you basically give them a family photo or a couple photo with you and your wife with them, and they will give you 3D images, 3D manifests of that photo as a souvenir for you. And the pricing is also extremely reasonable. It's like 10,000, 15,000, 20,000 INR, which comes to around $200 to $300. So they give you actual real life figurines of the photo that you give them. So it's really, I definitely in the coming years, I see this space growing a lot.
That's quite interesting. 3D photo of your family. I love to see that. Thank you.
Yeah.
So next, who would like to take this question?
Yeah, it's interesting. I can go next. We have a company in the customized women's clothing segment, targeted at the US market. Imagine going to a boutique in the US and paying, say, $300 for a dress. Here, you could just customize it to your requirements, not only your size and but you could say, I want larger red buttons on it instead of blue. I want lace on the sleeve instead of something else, and it then gets made to order. So I think that's doing reasonably well. There is a lot of demand for that kind of customization. Not easy to do, but I think the main challenge with personalization, in my view, is really at the back end. How you create your supply chain to deliver that personalization, right? Talking of fashion and apparel, there are companies, which Harsh also mentioned around print, right, which would basically buy just whites, but at the same time have very sophisticated 3D printing, technology or good quality printing technology, so that you could get your personalized T-shirts or your personalized accessories, right? But that again, very important to innovate across the supply chain. One of the experiments that is still being researched here in Singapore is really personalized product, like personal products. So you could really buy, a moisturizer very specific to your skin, right? Now imagine doing that one bottle or one SKU at a time. But they're building the entire manufacturing and the entire sort of delivery system exactly to do that. Now, I would love to see that. I mean, that's at least one generation, next generation. But to me, it really was extremely fascinating that you could get to a point where you could order your own shaving cream, for instance, personalized for what you need and your skin type, right?
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. We speak about this hyper personalization all our shows. Gary, over to you, please.
What was the question again, Sunny? I'm sorry.
Roman, can you repeat the question, please?
Yeah, sure. It was about the personalization of the merchandise, which are like highly liked by the millennials.
I mean, it's a situation.
In my opinion. So is it there in your place?
I mean, in the situation, so like sneakers, being able to take sneakers, trainers, and to be able to take those trainers and to be able to customize those for having the kind of product they want. Absolutely. I mean, millennials are I got to be careful because I have 2 millennials, but the little, I don't even know what to say. They're a little different, but the deal, you know, anything that's personalized, it's the right product at the right place, the right time for you, the kind of things that you want. So with a trainer, if it's a Nike trainer and you want a little bit lower, you want blue and green, you want to make it, you know, stand out a bit with different laces, those kind of things, those kind of, it's interesting because you're different than everybody else, but yet you're the same. So I think that it's a good trend. And now we come out with things like 3D printing. We're able to print in a specific location. So there's an item they want. I mean, think about what's going to happen. You're going to be able to go into a video, find a kind of product that you want, be able to order that product. It's printed at some initially printed at some site like a copying center where you can pick it up. So instead of taking 2 days to get that, it takes hours. And then eventually you'll be able to do some of these things in your home. It's just like copying and laser printing. The same kind of trend, right? It was crazy expensive at $30,000 for a laser printer. Now you can buy them for, you know, $150 and put it in your house. So those kind of trends going to be very interesting to see this evolution. It's going to happen, Roman. It's already happening now. You can see it. It's, you know, it's in Palo Alto in California near our house. There's actually a 3D printing place already that's starting that trend. So it's small now, but it's going to grow.
Absolutely. Great. Thank you so much, Gary. We are nearly end of the show. I'd like to take some closing remarks, starting with Ashish, who's joined us for the first time. Ashish, what's your feedback about VCTV and your closing remarks for the topic? 2 questions.
Fantastic, fantastic initiative. I love it, and it's very informal and a very informal setting. So, you know, love the conversation around here. So I'm very pleased to be here. On this topic, I could go on and on, but I think we are really at a, you know, early stages of a multi-decade boom in mobile tech, ad tech, digital advertising, video, e-commerce, you know, in that entire space. And for all the entrepreneurs out there, I think just choose your sweet spot and look at the market. There are a huge number of opportunities. Just go out and build something of value. This, you know, this part between India and Southeast Asia, we have almost 2 billion, you know, consumers and growing. So yes. Next 20 years is just so fascinating for me that how this will shape up. So I'm extremely excited about this space.
Thank you. Great words. Thank you, Ashish. And I definitely going to have you back on our show. So thank you so much. Next I have Harsh.
Yes.
Harsh, your closing remarks, please.
So as always, glad to have these amazing sessions. Glad to have Gary and Ashish and have these, you know, amazing discussions every time. This domain is very close to my heart, being a former founder, now who's turned VC. Marketing tech, advertising tech has always been very close to my heart, and I keep on like to following it, considering how much opportunity it has given to people, right? About 20 years back, people could not even imagine, you know, using digital advertising, not just digital, even conventional forms of advertising, because they tend to be so expensive. Now, because of the entire democratization of the entire process, you have digital marketers who are turning millionaires in a matter of 2 to 3 years. That is how, and how many new digital millionaires have been created simply by this new advancement of the technology, and how it has completely exploded the advertising market, right? Just like the way Uber exploded the transportation and logistics market, similarly, the digital advertising has completely exploded the advertising market. So I keep on seeing it growing, and I keep on seeing new innovations happening, and I try to stay in touch of each and every progress that's happening in this space. Really dynamic.
Dynamic space to be in. Thank you so much, Harsh.
You.
Gary, your closing remarks for the show.
Yeah, I mean, these are exciting times. And, the good news is at our fingertips, we can get to a lot of places and to be able to order things and understand and get those personalized products. So I'm encouraged. Remember, there's a lot of data around us every day, and making sense of that data is going to be critically important. We have so many selections. I know we talked about it yesterday just with Netflix. I mean, tens of thousands of selections. How do you find the right product? So artificial intelligence and moving from smart to intelligent assistants that really can help us. Having these really hyper-personalized experience where I can go in a shop, look at something and understands where I am, understands how loyal of a customer I am, gives me spot-on offerings and opportunities to be able to purchase something at a discounted price, et cetera, is really interesting. So we're at this dawn of a new era. It's going to dramatically shift the way that we shop. And of course, with COVID now, we're online. We're using our mobile phones a lot more. It's really pushed us forward years in terms of this evolution. So I'm encouraged by it. You can reach me, Gary Fowler, on LinkedIn, Facebook, or send me an email, Gary@GSDBS. I love to talk to you. And by the way, Sonny, if you go down to the cam mic at the bottom where it says green screen, I have a green screen behind me with my background. That's how you can use this. It makes it really easy, and you can put up just like you did before with Zoom, except you need a green screen to do it.
Okay, thank you, Gary. Well noted with that advice. I plan to buy a green screen soon. Thank you so much. Great. This brings us to the end of the show. I really appreciate your time, all of you today. Great insights. I've learned a lot today. I'm back tomorrow again on another topic with another set of speakers at 8 p.m. Singapore. Till then, stay tuned. Keep watching BCTV. Thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you. Bye. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.